السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد. In the ayat we heard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the believers and how they behave and how they are sincere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they establish the prayer, they give the zakah, and they forgive one another. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a quality there that it could be, surprising. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَ بَيْنَهُمْ. That is, their matter is shura among them, a mutual consultation among them. That is the quality of the believers. Okay, so it is something that is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it within the acts of worship and sayyat and hasanat and so forth. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about shura with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was in the context of the Battle of Uhud. When the seerah tells us that Rasulullah ﷺ took the opinion of the companions, should we meet the enemy outside of Medina or inside of Medina? The elder of the community said inside of Medina is better because we usually are victorious when we do that. The younger one said, no, we suggest that we fight outside of Medina. Rasulullah ﷺ decided to take the side of the young ones and to go outside of Medina to meet the disbelievers, Quraysh. As Rasulullah ﷺ entered to change and put his garment of war on, meantime, the young ones, they thought maybe we pushed Rasulullah ﷺ, maybe we talked too much, maybe Rasulullah ﷺ just didn't, they were wishy-washy about it. So when Rasulullah ﷺ came out, they said, Ya Rasulullah, maybe you want to, take the other opinion, whatever, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran, وَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Rasulullah said to them that it is not befitting where a prophet of Allah puts the garment of war on and then take it off. The matter is done. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the Quran down, إِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. When you make a decision, tawakkal Allah and go. And we know what happened during the Battle of Uhud. So what do you think now? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals Quran about the details of what happened in Uhud and so forth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to forgive them, wa'fu anhum, washawirhum fil amr. That's when the shura came. And the mention of the shura came. And make a shura with them. You would think that the shura is the one who brought all of this. No. It has nothing to do with that. And they did not blame one another. The older one did not say, see, we told you so. No, that did not go on. This is the qadr of Allah, and they made a mistake and in disobeying Rasulullah, and the matter is done. So that was, how they were so afraid now that the blame upon them and so forth. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, go to them again and get their opinion always, when matter comes up as such. The point here is the shura mu'limah or mulzimah? Is the shura to inform or to take as it being binding? Right? Rasulullah took their shura, meaning the majority would go, that is mulzimah. Once the decision is made by the majority to go, or Rasulullah took it as mu'allimah, as to inform only. And then Rasulullah will make the decision. Of course, Rasulullah was only mu'allimah, was only to inform, not binding. The final was Rasulullah decision. And the Sahaba afterwards, they were going with the shura the same way. For example, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the matter of Riddah, and he wanted to get an army out and so forth, all the others were on one side, and only Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was on one side. Okay, they all had different opinion than him. No, do not go. And he said, I will go. The others did not say, oh, wait a minute, the majority this and that, and how come? No, that is the way they were taught by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That the shura is mu'lima, to inform, not binding. And Umar radiallahu anhu, and all the Khulafa al-Rashideen was such. But now they say, I'm sorry, this is getting a little bit technical. They say, wait a minute, these days, a nation can be destroyed by a signature of somebody, right? So the shura cannot be only mu'lima, it has to be mulzima, because many would know better than one in many things. So the other scholars said, no, what it could be is, if a matter comes up, that the Amir does not have, or the Khalifa, or whoever it is, does not have knowledge about it, you can get the expert in the matter. Even those who that he has a shura with, they might not even have knowledge of this matter. So bring the experts in the matter, and they study the matter and make a decision in it. And within their decisions, then the Amir cannot come out of it, can pick one of their decisions. But it will be his decision anyway. Because if he comes out of it, he will come out with his knowledge, which is a lot less than theirs. So he has to take the expert's knowledge, opinion, but then he has to pick one of their opinion and not come out of it. So it still is his decision, but however, it is framed within those with the knowledge and so forth. Again, this kind of quote unquote, again, we go back to democracy and election and all of that. It has a seeds of animosity and destruction. Animosity and destruction. Bring any community, any group of people, and say we're going to have an election in our system to pick people who run things. What happened? Right away, you have animosity comes up. Those who come up will want this, the other one will come out with this, and then it'll be fighting against each other in the open and behind closed doors and so forth to get there. Because what do you do now? What you're doing is you bring in a lot of elements in it that you have no control of and no knowledge of either. You have no knowledge of, right? What about the majority we're not quite on the path? The majority, which is happening in the world today. You go to any Muslim, most of the Muslim say around, the minority are the one who's holding quite, eager to hold on to the path. So when you bring a lot of, you open it wide like that, so you're stuck with that, with those who could be not quite up to the standard, but then their decision is a decision and the matter is done. This is definitely a way that has to be studied and has to be balanced very well. But unfortunately, we take it as the Western way goes and say this is the best way now. No, it is not. The shura is the way, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened the doors for many ways. Rasulullah sallallahu at the time, before he died, did not appoint someone, but he hinted that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is the one. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he appointed Umar radiallahu anhu. So he did something different than Rasulullah sallallahu, meaning that he understood that Rasulullah sallallahu opened the door for this. Okay? Not went against Rasulullah sallallahu. No, that means and again the understanding of the Sahaba is very important. Rasulullah sallallahu did one way, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu did another way, Umar radiallahu anhu did another third way. So once you see this, you know that the door is open. But Umar radiallahu anhu, he picked some names and says that the Amir is among you, you make a decision amongst you and so forth. But then after the decision is made, then you go to the general public and tell them, okay, so and so, we want him forward and so forth, and they would give the bay'ah, not elect, okay, not to make the decision to begin with, but it has to be within that balance. But again, it is a model that is, we call it the shura, not democracy. How to what? Yes, yes. Correct, correct. Correct. Correct, correct, yes. Mm-hmm. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened the door in one way. Umar radiallahu anhu opened, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and Umar did it little differently. So the matter is open, as you're saying. This has to be studied and so forth. But to open it up completely, okay, and say individuals, the individuals are going to make the election, and you are giving the authority to those who, the majority, are not pious. That is not the way if you look at even the studies of organizations, okay, organization meaning companies, and how to make decision and how to elect a leader and so forth, they say the opinion of, we're going to go back to the shura, the opinion of the majority is not necessarily the most wise. Not the most wise. So the opinion of the majority could be making a decision or electing someone. Okay? So you're right, this is not something that happens in a stamp of a standard. Okay? However, if you look at organizations around, those who are not opening completely in the way of democracy, if you will, usually have a lot more problem than those who are framing it in a more concise way or more selective way. Allahu A'lam. Yes, yes. Correct, correct. But there is a link between them. Mm. Yes.
The model for the shura for the second one is require a precondition of selecting the right person.
Right.
And this is where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
If we have one of the Sahaba, one of the, and so on, obviously, you can trust this as a leader. But if the leader was picked in an appropriate way, well, now this particular decision making, then he can actually get the entire country for because
Correct.
His principle of decision is not consistent with Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually is a problem. I think
Right.
the first part is how we get the leader there. Sorry, Sheikh, I just want to have a discussion with you.
Yeah, we can sit and yeah, but you're right. This is a matter. This is a matter. But between them, there is the link of making a decision. Whether it is a few will make it or so many will make it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what is going on in Muslim world right now. They have leaders like, for example, Egypt is making whatever decision it wants. Or in Pakistan.
It's a corrupt system.
Yeah.
Even I'm not really advocating for this in a voting thing. so because people get bribed. So you will find that, those, you see the problem and those man, they are not much of a informed and educated, well in the system, and then they are simply getting, a bribe, and you find the corrupt leader making a decision. And in this case, if you apply the concept now, if we, here's a shura, here's a group, and the group, he will take him to be the group that is really his guys, and that's it.
Yeah, you okay. You find masajid now, okay? They tell you we are with shura, with the system, and they say election and general elections, okay? And you look at their bylaws and so forth and so on, right? Then they put restriction of who can be nominated and who can elect, okay? And then at the end, there is an organization that I know, at the end, they elected a president and they did not elect him. Why? Because he was the only one who's qualified. Okay, not only that, but he cannot nominate himself, right? So two people, a husband and wife, said we nominate so-and-so. Oh, he's qualified? Yes, so he became the president. So if you look at the general thing is election, is this and that. But at the end, it was just two people got someone in without anybody's opinion at all. So
When you get in, you will be making those for all the system which is you.
yeah, exactly. So, right, I would say now in this case, start from the beginning, say there is no general election. So come forward with that instead of going around, and behind the closed doors and doing this and making it difficult or and so forth.
Because if we just know an election, then in this case, well, it's going to be, more or less, a system that is not detached from the people. So you have to get some, also a say in
Correct.
election or approval, from their perspective.
There is a politics there. And the politics is not against Islam. Meaning that, siyasa shar'iyya, there is siyasa shar'iyya. Things that are open, the line in it is not drawn, this is haram, this is halal, and you work yourself in it. That's what you're talking about. How do you work within that frame? Okay? But work with it in the open and clearly and not go beyond it and not restrict it too much.
I agree, this is in my opinion, I think what you are saying is a good point, which is how you make a decision making. But in my, what I see is the problem fundamentally is how you get those decision makers to be there to start with, to trust them. Because if we just say, well, the Amir will be, well, he is corrupt to start with.
Right. Correct. And that is, I'm going to say a word now, that is okay, meaning what? In matter of small organizations, okay? Because a matter will become clear from the beginning, right? Clear from the beginning that the Amir of this is corrupt, the people around him, they have these ideas and so forth, so they will attract those who are on the same page or not attract anybody at all, okay? But so it is the work itself and the result and the ethics. It will bring the people and people will trust and so forth and so on. Okay? But to start off saying we are opening and this, this is places, this and that, and then go from the other side and restrict it to bring it to the same way that the others are doing, which is what very limited to this and that. But limited with clarity, okay? And those who buy into what you're doing, they come in. Those who say this is not what we are about, that's fine, no problem. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.